Hello, my name is Lucas, this is a bit of lit, and I'm here to talk about Caste, the Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. She is a Pulitzer Prize winner and the author of The Warmth of Other Suns, which, from what I gather, is about the Great Migration in America, when Black people were leaving the South to escape Jim Crow laws and extrajudicial persecution, and a whole bunch of other reasons, I'm sure. It is an excellent book, and I look forward to reading The Warmth of Other Suns. I highly recommend it, especially if you are American, to understand the country better. She makes some very strong arguments about how there is a caste system in America, which maybe you're thinking, I've only ever heard of the caste system in relation to India, and it's a long-standing thing, and there's different layers. Maybe you know about the lowest bottom of the bottom layer, the Dalits, the untouchables, these kind of things. She makes the argument that in America we have the same thing, and the dominant caste would be white people, and below them are people of color, and the Dalit untouchable caste has been historically Black people. It is pretty convincing, in my estimation. Certainly not something that I had thought of in these terms, but I just want to point out a few things. I mean, she goes through the history of Black people in America and how they have been treated, and how the caste system, as she posits, has manifested itself. I think it's pretty clear with the introduction of Black people to America, given that they were made to be slaves. And if you, if you were, let's say, Thomas Jefferson, taking advantage of Sally Hemings, even though your father is Thomas Jefferson, you are still, you have a drop of blood and these kind of things. There's a separation. There is a distinction for you to be below, and these kind of things. Pretty clear there, but of course, after the Civil War, slavery is over, but it manifests itself in other insidious ways, and continues to through Reconstruction, post-Reconstruction, Jim Crow era, and through the Civil Rights era even, and to the modern day. You find this sort of, it seems like a subconscious, for some people, some people more active, it seems, way of thinking, a subconscious way of thinking that has been downloaded. She uses this term a lot, downloaded into every person's mind, every white person's mind if they're in the dominant caste, and every person of color's mind, or Black person, with how race relations are going to be, because this caste system is based on skin color. To have an understanding of what she means by caste, she has this great quote, because it's not necessarily, from my understanding, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are even openly bigoted or openly racist, but it's just sort of learned behaviors that are sort of prejudiced. Sometimes some people don't even realize that they do, because it's sort of an expectation they have of social behavior. And she says, maybe I misunderstood it. Please let me know. Maybe I'm thinking of it the wrong way, but caste is insidious and therefore powerful because it is not hatred. It is not necessarily personal. It is the worn grooves of comforting routine and unthinking expectations, patterns of a social order that have been in place for so long that it looks like the natural order of things. So yeah, that's what she means by that, I think. I think that's the best summation of what she's trying to get at here. I would also like to point out two parts, because I know a lot of the stuff she's talking about. I knew probably, all the major things she talks about slavery and Jim Crow era and lynchings and in the civil rights era and even modern day. I know a lot of the examples she's talking about. I've read about these things in news articles or in other books, so I am familiar. But there are still some things that shook me in a way, and I had to put the book down. One, because I felt disgusting, and another because I just felt like empty inside. Because of, actually there were three. There was this story in 1944, this young boy sent a Easter letter? No, Christmas letter to a white girl, and that was a mistake, unfortunately, that ended in, I believe, the father and another man taking the boy and the boy's father and sort of tying him up and holding the father at gunpoint and having the boy jump into a river. And they got off from any kind of serious trouble in legal terms because of this system. Absolutely just horrific treatment of another human being, other human beings, and a horrific ideology. The father and mother hightailed it out of there because it was a dangerous place for them, and they had just horribly lost their son. That was horrifying. Never heard that story. Had to put the book down for a while to just... another interesting thing that I had to put the book down in because I felt empty inside as well. Spring, earlier in the year, because of the atmosphere and the way the country worked, a 16-year-old African-American girl thought about what should befall Hitler. She won a student essay competition thing with one sentence: put him in a black skin and let him live the rest of his life in America. You're punishing the man. What should we do after we win the war, and how should we punish this man? Make him appear black and bring him to America. Because the Nazis, they took their ideas from America about how to incorporate the racist policies in America and the racist attitudes in America into their law and way of life and into their regime. And you know what? The drop of blood thing was too much for them. I knew that stuff already. I didn't know about this essay, and I didn't know about the other boy who was killed later in the year. But reading these things again just reminds me how horribly racist that America is. I want to say that country because I'm not living there right now, but I'll just say this country because I am American. Anyway, really, really devastating. There is another part that is graphic. I put it down for the rest of the day, I think. I had to stop reading for the whole day, where she's talking about, I don't remember if it was Will Brown being lynched or another man being lynched, or just in general, like how lynchings turned into carnivals, essentially, and lots of people would show up. And some people, photographers, would go to these lynchings and take pictures and sell them as postcards, and people would send these things. Yeah. And like the most devastating part of the whole book is that she's constantly reminding the reader that lots of people would hope to be the kind of person that would stand up against this kind of thing. For example, she talks about Nazi Germany a lot, and how there's this photo of everybody raising their hand and, doing the Nazi salute, but in the photo you see one guy who's not doing anything, who was apparently a Nazi member, but had become disgusted with the way things had turned out. And in this photo you see him not, like, he's one out of so many. And she makes the point, like, a lot of us feel like we would reject this, but so few of us do. And that's because it's like a well-worn groove and sort of a source of comfort for people, horrifically. Well, the dominant caste, at least. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a great book, and if I keep talking about it, I will just be depressed, because it's depressing to read. But there is, at the end, she does give some hope, and in a way, just to talk about how free everyone would be without this caste system, and how much more how much more we could all benefit each other, in a way, if we were able to tear down this superstructure and have more equitable, equal society, these kind of things. Read the book. It's very good.